I understand as a creative it must be super tough to see your product raked across the coals, but ultimately you need to provide people with a full, high quality experience in order to deserve their money or their trust in the future, and that did not happen with MindsEye. They released a buggy, broken, and just all around really mediocre product, and instead of owning up to it and saying, our team just didn't do our best and we're so sorry to disappoint you guys, now the MindsEye boss is claiming internal and external saboteurs are the reason why the game has faced so many problems. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, you would think that somebody who was previously the rockstar boss would understand the state of the industry and also what people expect to be getting when they are swiping their credit card, but instead of just owning up to their mistakes and saying, we just didn't do our best, now, there's this big theory around why it failed. And weeks before this game had even launched, the CEO had actually come out and said, oh my gosh, there's so many bots that are negatively talking about our game on social media and ratioing our posts. And when I had done my video on that, I couldn't find any evidence of that. Whether it was on their YouTube trailers or on their X, I could not find a wave of negativity. I don't even think a lot of people knew that this game was coming out until he made that claim and the access media picked it up. And now they're going on saying, oh, it's not the developers who made a bad game. It's actually saboteurs who have, buried this experience. So Benzies, who is best known for his time as the president of Rockstar North, has reportedly broken his silence to staff after the difficult launch of MindsEye, the debut game for his studio, Build a Rocket Boy. And this sucks, right? Because I, in theory, want every game to come out and for it to be good and for it to not be a total ripoff, but unfortunately, they just delivered a really bad experience. According to a report from IGN, Benzies addressed staff this week where it's claimed the studio boss blamed internal and external saboteurs on the issues facing both MindsEye and Build a Rocket Boy. It was reported last month that the studio is facing mass layoffs in the wake of MindsEye's disastrous launch, and I know a lot of companies right now are going through layoffs. I mean, even look at what's happening with Microsoft and Xbox. Tons of games are being canceled, tons of people are losing their jobs, but in this case, you only have one game that you are selling to people. It just doesn't look like the studio is going to be around for much longer at all. Sure, maybe they will put some time and effort into releasing patches and fixing up bugs so it's an okay product, but it's still going to face, a lot of backlash unless they pulled a Cyberpunk 2077, and they clearly don't have enough time or money to do that, and people don't have any faith in them to even do that. And while we don't know the exact budget for this game, they raised at least $100 million, so one would assume that this had a pretty decent budget, especially for a studio's first release. I'm sure Benzies' name being attached to this studio did help them secure some funding, but you'd think that we would be getting a game that at least looked like it was made with $70 or $75 million instead of, $20 million in a year worth of dev time. Their comment comes as around 300 staff are reported to have been receiving emails informing them that they are at risk of losing their jobs. According to the report, these same emails have been sent to staff at PlayFusion, a studio that was acquired by Build a Rocket Boy in 2024. So apparently they finally addressed staff following the release of MindsEye in a brief video call yesterday, or now 2 days ago, and according to two people present who asked not to be named in order to protect their careers, Benzies insisted Barb would bounce back and relaunch MindsEye, blaming the studio and the game's struggles on internal and external saboteurs, amongst other things. And I just don't see a way that this is gonna bounce back. I don't see a way that you're gonna get people back, and you didn't even have a lot of individuals in the first place. I mean, the max player count on Steam was 3,302. This is a meme game at this point. Where is the accountability? Where is the, we are so sorry for releasing a bad product, a mediocre product. We didn't ever want to disappoint you guys. We didn't put our best foot forward. Like, when are these people finally going to actually act like adults who care about their customers. They're not acting that way at all whatsoever. I mean, since the release of MindsEye on June 10th, social media has been flooded with videos of the game's technical issues and bugs. The situation has deteriorated to the extent that PlayStation has been refunding multiple players, a rare occurrence. Yeah, I mean, they almost never do that because they figure, well, you're the doofus who swiped your credit card, but in this case, it was so broken and so disappointing that they just decided, you know what, we've got a refund. The studio said that it was heartbroken during an apology released earlier this month, saying that it was fully committed to ensuring all of our players have a great experience. Then maybe you should have been fully committed to releasing a full game. This needed at least another half a year to cook. You needed another at least 6 months of development time, maybe even a year of development time to get it into a good state. But even putting aside the bugs and glitches and all the technical problems, it's still just as a mediocre game itself all around. The story wasn't that great. The acting wasn't that fantastic. Like, the environments weren't that good. It just seemed so basic. I don't know if they had to cut a lot of features or if they had plans for like DLC. Either way, though, what they launched was not okay. And of course, the scores are terrible. The Metacritic score currently stands at a 38 for the PC version and just 28 for the PS5 version. And on Steam, where user ratings are currently listed as mostly negative, of the 1,833 user reviews submitted for the game so far, 37% are marked as positive. And yeah, like I showed, there aren't even that many people playing it anymore. I know that it's a single player title, so once you've gotten through the campaign, you're probably not going to be playing it anyway unless they release new content, but you know, less than 5K is already abysmal, never mind 3,302. And if you head on over and take a look at what the Steam reviews say, most of them are, of course, not defending these developers. Unfortunately, the bugs still aren't fixed. How sad. I had hope. Guess not. Do not buy. They won't let me get a refund, and they've only got 7 hours on record. I want my money back. This game has taught me that pre-ordering is rarely worth it. Worst game I've played in a while. I tried to like it, but the more I play, the worse it gets. Tons of graphical problems. Just not worth the money. Probably one of the fastest games that I ever refunded. If Benzies wasn't part of this game, I'd never even have given it a try in the first place. It runs poorly. The gameplay is like basic. The story's a snooze fest. Overall, it's not looking good. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this to see if these developers end up making any other statements or making any other really wild claims. But weeks before release, it was, oh, bots are going after us. And now apparently there's people internally and externally sabotaging them in the studio. And it's just a shame to see that accountability is dead, because if they actually had sat here and said, we're so sorry, we're going to be trying to work on the game over the next couple of months and make it at least a decent experience, maybe I'd have a little bit more respect for them, but they have done nothing to make me have any sort of faith in them. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.